and Japan slaughtered Chinese civilians in the Rape of Nanjing. This was also the year Pablo Picasso painted his iconic image of the horrors of the destruction of Guernica. But most Americans, including my family, were strongly isolationist, despite Franklin Roosevelt's efforts to coax Americans to look outward and broaden their horizons. Today, our nation debates whether we are witnessing the end of the American century in which the United States has been the dominant power. Some believe that we are about to be displaced by China, but I have argued that the future is still open. I have lived through 8 decades of an American era that included World War II, Hiroshima, and wars in Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Nuclear holocaust was always a background fear. School children were told that in the event of a nuclear explosion they should duck under their desks and cover their heads. The Cold War ended without the nuclear catastrophe that hung over our heads, but it was replaced by a period of hubris as America became the world's sole superpower. That unipolar moment was soon replaced by fears of transnational terrorism and cyber wars, and analysts today speak about a new Cold War with a rising China and fear of nuclear escalation following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Our mental maps of the world have changed dramatically over my lifetime. So has our technology. When I was born, there were no real computers. Today, most of us carry a computer in our pocket that would have required a building to house just a few decades ago. I have an even smaller one implanted in my body that paces my heart. In 1937, transcontinental and transoceanic air travel was barely possible. Over the years, I have logged more than 1 million frequent flyer miles on more than one airline. And then, during the COVID pandemic of 2020, I suddenly stopped traveling. Nonetheless, new technology allowed me to give talks on 4 continents in the course of a week without spending a drop of jet fuel. At the beginning of the American era, no one considered the impact of humans on the Earth's climate. Today it is a major concern as we confront ever more intense wildfires, storms, melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and forced migration of peoples. My family is a very American mix of immigrants. Benjamin Nye was a Puritan who came to Massachusetts in 1639, and the house he built is still preserved as a museum in the small town of Sandwich on Cape Cod. One of my ancestors fought in the American Revolution before moving to Maine. My grandmothers, however, were more recent immigrants from Ireland and Germany. My paternal great-grandfather, John Ward Nye, was a farmer from Maine who joined the California gold rush but found no gold. Unlike so many New Englanders, I have a grandfather who was born in California but decided to return east to work for another branch of the Maine family that had prospered in New York. When my grandfather fell in love and married Lillian Spaulding, the artistic daughter of an Irish Catholic family that ran the Brooklyn boarding house where he was staying, the staunchly Protestant family was scandalized, and he was forced to resign from the family company. After his mother died of cancer when he was 9, my father was brought up by 2 Baptist old maid aunts, as they were then called. They told him his mother had gone to hell because she was a Catholic. The little boy loved his caring aunts and loved his mother, so he developed a distrust of organized religion. As an adult, my father refused to go to church, but retained a broad belief in God. He sent me and my sisters to Sunday school. I, too, wrestled with religion during various phases of my life, at one time even contemplating a career as a minister. That was not to be. Religious intolerance was intense in 20th century America, but by 1960 I was able to cast my first vote for Jack Kennedy, an Irish Catholic. I never knew my Irish grandmother, but I like to imagine her smiling at this vote by her grandson. America has serious flaws, many of which occupy us now, but we have also had a capacity to recreate ourselves.